Greetings, people. It's Mr. Pull the Trigger yet again on another episode of the Enlightenment series. The month of June, the month that does not need anyone to be in the blankets, especially those that are practicing charlatanism.
I don't want peace. I want problems always.
No, I promise Nigeria that in June, there will be no time for heaters and there will be no time for electric blankets because the heat that will be coming from this Enlightenment series, it will be enough to keep all those that have some things in the closet to keep them warm. Yeah, they are going to be warm. So on this chapter, on this chapter, we shall be looking at the case of Johnson Suleman. I know most of you, not most of you, just a few gullibles. They are still believing that I'm doing damage control for Johnson Suleman. They have convinced, or they were convinced, or they were made to believe that this is damage control for Johnson Suleman. People, if I'm going to be paid, how much can I be paid? Let's start there. 20,000, 50, 100, 500. Do you think I'm worth that? To you people. I'm not for sale. I'm not selling my services to anyone. What I'm here doing is just to present the truth to you people. And when we talk about the truth, I want to advise you to stick to the truth. Don't put emotions, don't put feelings to the truth. Remain neutral when it comes to the truth. That's why on my platforms, if you have checked through my platforms, if I bring my own analysis or if I critique anything, I always bring the second opinion from the people that I'm talking about. When I come here to talk about Jeremiah Omoto, Ruth Matthews' case, Jeremiah Omoto will go and do damage control with Mr. Ayo. I'll bring that video from Mr. Ayo and then I'll play it here so that you can be left to decide who is lying and who's telling the truth. I don't have time for damage control. That's why I'm always posting the threats that I receive. That's why even if anyone calls me, challenging me on what I'm doing, I don't keep other things hidden. I bring everything to the table so that you become the judges. Because if you're standing for the truth, there's no room for you to hide anything or to protect anything. There's no integrity that I'm trying to protect here because I'm standing for the truth. So I'm appealing to your conscience as well. Do not follow me, follow the truth. The truth remains constant. Men fail, men fall. So whenever you bring arguments, don't say, no, Proff X, now we don't trust you because, no, don't use your emotions. To you, your emotions, they don't count. I don't value emotions. Everyone is entitled to opinions, emotions, and any other aspersions that they can cast. But when it comes to the truth, that's when we get to separate the one that are truly standing with integrity and those that are flip-flop, those that those that don't have a solid ground that they are standing on. Don't worry about you saying that, so you're working for this, or we don't trust you anymore. Don't trust me. Trust what I'm saying. If it sits well with you or if it makes sense. The moment my utterances start confusing the truth that you think you know, then start discarding everything that I'm saying. But don't come here and start casting aspersions because I'm saying things that are not sitting well with your expectations. We are not going to have the same point of view or the same opinions. If I come here, all I'm just going to do is to speak the truth that I know based on the facts that are on the table. There are so many people that have sent me messages. You know what, Proff X? We wanted to give you our testimonies. Now we can't give you our testimonies because we've been made to believe that you're working for Suleman. People, I'm the voice. Most of you might not have had the opportunity to also have a voice so that you can stand for others. But for now, I think I'm privileged to have you people listening to me because they say attention is the asset. You are my asset. You are my assets. If you don't pay your attention to what I'm saying, then what I'm saying might just be a waste of time. So I'm very appreciative for the ears that you render to listen to what I'm talking about. But do not use that as a blind spot to think that you can control what I'm going to be saying. Everything that I'll say will come from my own investigations and from my own understandings. And whenever I'm wrong, the platform is always open. You are all allowed to say, no, here I think you got it wrong. How about you look at it this way? This analysis that you did is not so balanced. How about you also ask questions like this, like this, like this? I'm open to that. But for you to jump into a conclusion based on your emotions and say, this, we have concluded that you are being paid, you are doing damage control. People like that, I don't even check what they are saying. I just look at them and just pray for them that may favor locate them. Because they are too emotional. That's the problem with Christians. You are too emotional beings. You lack the capacity to reason independently. Everything that I talk about here, you're not supposed to just consume it and make a conclusion. No. Analyze it. Check out if it's making sense. Put 1 and 2 together. Connect the dots. Then come up with a conclusion. If I come here and then I say so and so is being paid by so and so, don't conclude from what I've told you. Cross-check everything that I've said also and find out your own conclusion. Here, I'm not making conclusions. I'm just bringing out to the table things that are still, due for further investigation and analysis. So to those that are too emotional to come and make conclusions before they analyze, before they think, come on, that's your own error, not mine. So there's this other ex-pastor. Let me just use this as a reference. There's this other ex-pastor again of Johnson Suleman that was supposed to give me a story about his or her experience. I will not clarify whether it's a he or a she, so that maybe the person does not want to be known yet. This person wanted to give me their story about their 10-year experience with Johnson Suleman. So I gave them time to say, okay, whenever you're ready, you can come and tell me the story, and we can make a publication of the story, about the story. Because most of people are saying, why are you exempting Johnson Suleman? Why are you not talking about Johnson Suleman? People, no one has brought me something to talk about. Victims have not yet brought me something to talk about. If a victim comes today and they give me a story about Johnson Suleman and I don't post it, then you can say I'm being paid. If there's anyone out there that has given me something tangible about Johnson Suleman who is a victim that I did not produce here, then let them come out and say, Prof X, we gave you this story about so. Why did you not run with it? Then they can have a case. Rather than just coming up from south, north, east, west and say, why are you not running stories about Johnson Suleman? There's nothing that I've received yet about the victims. That's the reason why I have not yet run. But I did so many episodes in the past about the guy. Plenty of episodes. They are still there on my platform. And some people are still ranting. No, you have stopped. I did not stop. I've just been busy with Jeremiah Omoto. Jeremiah Omoto has been my priority. And he's still my priority. So there's a strategy to do these things. Me, I'm focused on Jeremiah Omoto. My interest is on Jeremiah Omoto at the moment. Because Jeremiah Omoto is guilty of something that does not sit well with me. Because the one that I'm more concerned about is baby testimony. How baby testimony disappeared, how he was abducted, and the fact that he's still not known. We still do not know where baby testimony is. For that, I'm still fighting Jeremiah Omoto. I'm not even fighting him. Let me put it correctly. I'm putting him to question so that he can be held accountable for this kind of brutality. So that's my lane at the moment. I'm concerned and I'm 100% committed to the case of Ruth Matthew baby testimony, which is involving Jeremiah Omoto. But if there's something else about Suleman that you can bring to the table, bring it. And we'll work on it. If someone said, Prof, also review the case of Otobo, we can. If you allow me. Without doubt. We can. And this pastor that sent me that I wanted to talk about, who wanted to send me their testimony, but they eventually made a U-turn. Let me just read the conversation, but I will not mention the name of the pastor who sent me that information. But I'm just using this as a point of reference to make you understand how people have gotten swayed away with this narrative that I'm being paid by Johnson Suleman. No one can pay me, people. How much can I be paid for me to be doing damage control? Do you think my value, okay, how much? Maybe 200 billion? Yeah, maybe. I might take it if it's 200 billion. I might not take it for the money, but I'll take it for the status of becoming the richest man in the world. And when I take it, do you know what I would do first? I'll buy YouTube. I'll buy shares on YouTube, 50% shares on YouTube, 50% shares on Facebook, 50% shares on all digital platforms. And the first thing I'll do is to remove Adeboye from this platform. I'll flag them as going against these digital platforms' community standards. I'll flag all of their accounts and make sure that we take them out. I'll make preaching false doctrines and misleading people with fake miracles. I'll make those standards that go against the community standards of these digital platforms. That's the only time I'll take money from charlatans, when that money is enough for me to buy shares on these digital platforms, so that we make sure we suppress the spread of these diabolic doctrines and the spread of this falsehood. So the day you hear that I have been given money or I'm working for someone, I would have been given something close to 200 billion US dollars. If they can't afford that, then I'm still here. That's my prize. So if they're watching me, if they have 200 BN, then I can take it. But that's my plan with the money, to make sure that they'll never exist on any digital platform, because the way that this cancer is spreading, or falsehood, across the globe, needs to be stopped. So we need someone with an influence. So that's the only time that I'll take money from charlatans. So the pastor sent me a message. This is what the pastor said. And this is a pastor of Johnson Suleman. I still don't know the role that the pastors played in the church, but this pastor has been there for more than 10 years. So the message goes, flow with me. Hi, Prof X. Good morning from Nigeria. Want to sincerely commend you for what you are doing for the emancipation of the body of Christ. My name is ex-pastor with Omega Fire Ministries, founded by Johnson Suleman. And then I responded, greetings. The pastor went on to say, I have been following your programs, and suddenly, some nights ago, I was in a vision to where I saw Nigerians celebrating and awarding you for what you have been doing to help. In summary, I saw Nigerian government accepting, rewarding, and awarding you for this. Please don't stop no matter the threats. They'll amount to nothing. I saw the end of everything by the end of the Spirit. You didn't die. You didn't fall sick. It was victory at last. God bless you, sir. And then I said, amen. More grace. The pastor goes on to say, but I would like to do a voice note later on my 10 years experience with Suleman. I left there frustrated and suicidal. I really need your matchless advice at this point. I'm confused and frustrated at the moment. I was 26 when I met him. Now I'm 38 in 2 months' time. And then I said, no problem. I will be waiting. 23 May, sometime down the line, the pastor came back and then she said, I was supposed to be doing a voice note to explain a few things, but again, I had to slow down to be sure. I have a question for you, Prof X. Are you working for Apostle Suleman or no? If no, why are you exempting him? You made another post again featuring major charlatan preachers in Nigeria, and the face of Suleman wasn't found. I think I was offline, and the pastor concluded 10 minutes later. Is it 10 minutes later? Yeah, it must be 1 hour later. And then the pastor went on to say, I see, your silence tells it all. I thank God I didn't say anything about Suleman to you yet. Then when I read this, I just said, stay blessed. That's all that I could say. And then the pastor said, I don't need your prayers. The pastor was already mad. The pastor was already angry. Saying, I don't need your prayers. But remember, this is the same person that came to acknowledge me, that came to support me and appreciate me for what I'm doing. But simply because I made a post where I'd put faces of charlatans. But I don't know how Suleman's face was not there. The pastor concluded that for that reason alone, it's a confirmation that I'm working for Suleman. But why are you people so gullible? Why are you also so shallow in your thinking? To that extent, you have nothing to prove the assertions. You have not given me the story. You have not told me about your experience. It's not like you gave me the story and I did not post it and I did not publish it. You just concluded and you decided not to tell me or to share with me your experience simply because you think that I'm working for Suleman. My pastor, if you're still watching me, and I know you're still watching me, bring that story and see if we do not publish it. See if we do not publish it. Rather for you to conclude before you have tested me. Test me, my people. Give me a chance. And let's see who's working for who. I'm not doing damage control for anyone. I'm just speaking the truth, and the truth has to remain the truth. It is the case of Killian and who? And Suleman, which I analyzed previously. And people concluded that no, why did you look at it this way? Which way was I supposed to look at it? I'm still going to look at it. I'm just waiting for few pieces to be put together. Okay, let me just give you a few summary of the few findings that I might have gotten now. That case, the reason why I got interested in the case is because there's a victim, and the victim can't speak for herself now because she's dead, she's gone. My interest is knowing what caused the death. Who is responsible for the demise of this particular woman? And this particular woman is a sister to Johnson Suleman's wife. Killian came out and then he said the wife, Killian is the husband of the deceased. He came and then he said he was defending himself. And the reason why he was defending himself is because some few months ago, there were allegations that Killian was abusive to his wife. There were allegations that the reason why Gloria, the wife to Killian, died is because Killian was abusive to her. So when Killian came and then he gave his own side of the story, and then he said, no, it's not because of the abuse or domestic violence. It's because my wife was HIV positive. That is the reason why she died. That is what led to her death. In a case like that, we need to meticulously look into it and investigate it so that we can establish the truth beyond what is being said, or the truth beyond the testimonies that are being given. Because anyone can say anything to clean their image or to exonerate themselves from a case of this nature. The things that we need to look at, we're going to launch an entirely deeper analysis. Here I'm just brushing the surface. The question that I have to Suleman and the wife, if you people knew that Killian was abusive to the wife, who happens to be a sister to Johnson Suleman's wife, why did you not make a report about this case, about these incidences? Why have you never spoken out loud about it? That my pastor is doing this to his wife. Why did you not condemn it at an earlier stage? Rather than wait for this to happen, for the death to happen, for the sister to suffer all this while and end up dying. And then later on, after the sister dies, then you come up to say, Killian, if anything happens to my sister, then you will see what is going to happen to you. These are the questions we have for Suleman and the wife. Why didn't you address this issue before it got out of hand? And the question that I also have to Killian, how did you go to Qatar leaving your family behind? How did that happen? Were you so attached to Suleman or obedient or loyal to Suleman that everything Suleman says you do? Was that the nature of your relationship? Were you that submissive that Suleman and the wife would control your marital affairs to a point that you do not have a say in what goes in your own house, in your own home? The other question I have for Killian is, You say your wife died of HIV and she was diagnosed of being positive in 2020. My brother, I want to be honest with you. In these days, HIV is not a disease that can, a virus that can take out someone within 2 years. I hope most of you can agree with me. There are people that have been alive that are suffering from HIV for more than 10 years now. For more than 20 years, they're still alive. I don't think Gloria, your wife, could have been reckless enough not to take medication. No matter the stage of this virus, I don't think 2 years is enough to lead to her death. So you're saying that it was HIV? Wait. I don't remember the last time I heard that someone died of HIV. Honestly speaking, I don't remember. And the other question I have for Brother Killian is, for 2 years, you have 2 children with this wife, which means she was probably HIV, I don't know for how long, I don't know for how long this woman was positive. Are you telling me? Because Killian comes and then he says, I'm shocked. It's by the work of God that I'm also not HIV positive. It's because the reason why I'm also not HIV positive is because we discontinued the activities of husband and wife in 2020 after they already have 2 children together. How did this brother also not get the virus, if I should put it correctly? The justification to this question, he said, the reason why I did not get the virus is because we discontinued this husband and wife kind of a thing in 2020. So you're telling me for the past 2 years, we have never had intercourse? And I also want to clarify something. It's possible for someone to be married to someone or for someone to be engaging in intercourse with someone who is affected or infected and not get the virus. It's very possible. The chances of that happening are very high. But this normally happens if the person that is infected is on medication. But in the case of Gloria, if she was really not taking treatment, if she was not on treatment, then Brother Killian, chances of him contracting the virus are high, could have been higher. Unless, which is personal, we don't care about that, he's not being honest also about his status, which is not important to us. But he must be careful with the things that he say, because we will analyze everything and put everything, to the table so that we can get the facts right. There's a woman that died, and there are allegations and accusations that it could be domestic violence. The other wind that I got of this whole case, the reason why Brother Killian is not happy, the reason why he is angry, is because he's not happy with the fact that these people tarnished his image. These people accused him of being responsible for the death of his wife. These people said it's domestic violence. These people are saying that you are abusing your wife. So if that had happened to me also, I would come out and say anything. How can you say I killed my wife? That is if he has no hand in it. Because I also watched another video of the children saying what they were saying. It's too premature to release all this information. But the line remains. We still need to establish what led to the death of the late Gloria. Was it HIV? Or was it domestic violence? This is a critical case, people. And you all have to be sensitive before you defend who is right and who is wrong. Before you come to conclusions, take it slowly but surely. Put all the facts on the table. And then when everything is out, then now you can all start saying, we can now start revisiting and start castigating whoever that's responsible. And another question we still have for the Sulemans is, why did they conduct the burial without this brother being available, without the husband being available? Because according to Killian is saying, Suleman specifically told Killian not to come back because Suleman was doing damage control. Which damage control was he doing? If the Sulemans had nothing to hide, why would they not allow the husband to come back to bury his wife? Why would they not allow him? If they have nothing to hide, Why would they want to distance the husband from coming to carry out or to be part of the funeral arrangements of his own wife? And another question again to Killian. This is your wife, my brother. Can another man tell you not to come to her burial? And you say, okay, Papa, because you're my father, it's fine, I will not come. Your wife, the mother of your children. And you can come now to fight for her. And you can come now to say, that was my sweetheart. No, brother, come on. Come on, my brother. Even if I was wanted in Nigeria and my family and my wife is in Nigeria and she dies in Nigeria, with the way that I'm wanted in Nigeria, I'll go to Nigeria. Regardless of the threats, regardless of the barriers or embargoes placed on me to go there, I'll go there. But for you, my brother, to say you did not come because you were told not to come by your spiritual father, to me does not suffice. To me does not suffice, honestly. There's no justification to that. Your wife, the mother of your children, your spiritual father told you not to attend the funeral, and you said, it's okay, Papa, you can carry on with the arrangements, it's fine. You do not have money to come back to bury your wife. There's so many things to look at. If you think there's still more and many more other things, the autopsy of the whole thing, we're still going to look at that. But the thing that I just want to clarify to you people is, I'm on the middle ground here. This is not my case. I'm only interested in the demise. I'm only speaking for the one who can't speak for herself, who happens to be Gloria. The one that is deceased now, the late Gloria. But I'm not even really interested in the case, but I'm just helping you to analyze it and find out the real culprit so that you can all shift your focus in the right direction before you conclude. Am I doing damage control for someone, for Suleman? That is still up to you to decide. And you're entitled to decide, to make your own analysis as you progress. But at the end of the day, what I want, regardless of what you think, is to make sure that we know who's behind the death of Gloria. Is it the husband? Is it the Sulemans? What is being hidden? There's something that is not being spoken here. There's also another guy that called me, I also forgot to mention, who's called Eric. I had forgotten to mention that part. And Eric is a son to Johnson Suleman. The relationship between Eric and Suleman and what's his name? And Killian is this. When I watched Killian's confession, he also mentioned this Eric. They once had a three-way call, the three of them. When they were talking, and Suleman was asking this guy to say, why are you saying that I did not inform you about the burial of your wife? And Eric is saying, Killian is lying. Killian said this, and that. There's a lot. Let me not bring it all together. If I bring it all now, you might not understand it. But rather, in the next episode, let me play the confession, the testimonial of Killian, and then I'll play the testimonial of Eric. And then both of you can understand. So both of you can, come up to a conclusion. Who's telling the truth and who's lying? Because Eric's frustration is, Eric is the son of Johnson Suleman. His frustration is, why am I not also being given a platform where Killian is telling his story so that I can also say my side of the story? Him is coming to do damage control for Suleman. He's coming to speak his own truth about this whole thing. So there's more to establish. There's more to look into. That's why my platform, I'm opening it to everyone to come and say what they know about this case. So with that being said, let me sign out. It's Mr. Pull the Trigger. I'm out.